Ladies and gentlemen, the long awaited, highly anticipated, the United States National High School Champions League on the move. We got the co founder, Jim Hart. Jim, take it away, buddy.
Good morning, Kevin. How you doing? And before we get started, as always, we want to thank our sponsor. We're going to thank two sponsors today. First, our national ball sponsor, Select Sport America, through Tim McAvoy. And also, we have our sponsor, a Tampa Bay sponsor, Raymond James 360 Wealth Management. Raymond James 360 Wealth Management has been with us since day one in the Tampa Champions League movement. 8 years now, one of our longest sponsors, and through Greg Godsey, who played on a New Jersey high school state championship team in the 1980s, played for University of South Florida. Tim McAvoy's alma mater, by the way, or one of the places Tim McAvoy played.
He had a
Tom
cup
Byer.
of he had a cup of coffee there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Tom Byer also played there.
Wow.
Greg Godsey was there too. So I don't know that they played together, but they all played at the same place. So before I get into the stories, Kev, I'm gonna throw it back to you on the sponsors.
Oh, the Select soccer ball is the only ball that is a champion's ball. We have and all their gear. I'm telling you, as a matter of fact, if I could make it happen, I would have Select as you walked in the front door and out the back door. Everything would be Select around the house. I would only wear. Yeah, that's it. Okay, then. So we're
right,
busy.
Here we
Let's
go.
get it. Yeah.
Here we go with today's 5 stories. Story number 1, Ryan Helfrich, the president of the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So Ryan is meeting Thursday with David Wilson and I to go over plans for next season's Champions League final in Tampa, and also to discuss the meeting that we told you about yesterday with Frank Can Productions. So we are working on upping our game at the High School Champions League in terms of producing media that tells the story of the High School Champions League. Looking forward to that meeting with Ryan tomorrow, or Thursday. Before I move on, Kev, what do you got?
Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps already, and this is only the first one.
That's good. Well, you're going to love the second one. So I had a great meeting yesterday. We've got another one tomorrow, and then again Thursday with a gentleman by the name of Michael Deaver. Michael lives in the Orlando, Florida metro area, and he is a guy that actually over 30 years ago came to one of our soccer camps in the Tampa Bay area. He's moved on to become a high school soccer coach at a place called Trinity Prep in Orlando, and he's starting a new soccer business. Very exciting. About peak athletic performance. Very cool. And we started talking yesterday, and we've got a lot to talk about still, but this is a definite beachhead in the Orlando metro area. So here we come, Mickey. Be ready.
Baby, yeah. Go, go, go. Number 3.
Atletico Dallas. Atletico Dallas is an expansion franchise in the United Soccer League, USL Championship. They're going to start play in 2027. Atletico Dallas actually has some St. Louis connections in the form of Perry Vanderbeck. Atletico Dallas, let me tell the story. They reached out to Perry Vanderbeck through Brian Corcoran, who is their sporting director, and Mike McAlone, who is from St. Louis and actually a good friend of Terry Mickler's. Atletico Dallas has heard about the High School Champions League, and they want to explore making the High School Champions League part of their profile when they roll their team out in 2027. We've now had 3 meetings with Atletico Dallas to discuss the ins and outs of Texas high school soccer and identifying Texas high school soccer coaches. We've identified several actually that want to be part of this project, and they are on a slow boil to bringing the high school soccer Champions League to the Dallas Metroplex by 2027, 2028. Very exciting.
My jaws dropped. I just put it up. I mean, that's how professional soccer should react to us. You know, open arms. So, man, way to go, Dallas. I'm starting to
Yes,
like Texas a little bit. I got a little, okay, all right.
Texas is great. Okay, item number 4. Okay, this item is not really so much a news item as a clarification. So, as we talk to these various metro areas, the one thing that they always come back to is this sounds great, but our state high school governing board is probably not going to like it. And what we have to get across to people continuously, and so I'd like to make this one of our news items today, is that the organization of the High School Champions League is really nothing more than regular season games on the schedules of teams. So when people think of soccer tournaments, they think of what they've experienced with either youth tournaments or maybe even the state championship or the state final four, say, where big groups of people gather together on one field on one weekend or in one compressed period of time, and there's a whole bunch of games going on, and it plays its way down to a championship. And that's not really what the High School Champions League is. The High School Champions League is, think of it like the European Champions League. The European Champions League identifies the participants based on performance the season before. So the High School Champions League is the same way. You do well this season, that gets you into the High School Champions League next season. Well, once the teams are picked, so we know who the teams are before the season even begins and before the schedules are made for their regular season games. So now they know who their teams are that they're supposed to play. They make those teams part of their regular season schedule the following year, just like any other games they're playing. And the state governing body does not care who you play in your regular season games. The state governing body gets involved in things like regulating tournaments. So the High School Champions League, while it has a tournament aspect to it, it isn't a gathering of a bunch of teams at one place at one time. It's just a series of regular season games. The state governing body can't regulate every regular season game. That's up to the schools to do. The High School Champions League is an understanding among coaches that through their regular season schedule, they're going to carry out this competition. This is a very important thing for people to understand. And in the places that we're doing the High School Champions League, which is in Missouri and Florida right now, the state governing bodies, they have no problem with the High School Champions League. And they actually appreciate high school coaches that are working together, that are collaborating in good sportsmanship and in good spirit to make something good happen. That's an important thing for people to understand about the High School Champions League. So that's item number 4.
Man, I'm so thankful you brought this to people's attention because that's the whole idea. You get out of this mindset of tournament and this and that. That when you merit, you get in this thing, and it's a part of the regular season. And I just had a guest, a long time coach, that said she loves the the Champions League because it gets you prepared for the postseason. it gets because
Yes.
you are playing some very significant teams and games in the midst. And you play three, possibly
Yes.
five. You know,
Yes.
yeah, and you only So this is really something that uh, it's people are really not. They don't have that concept in their mind and in their heart. But once you're able to explain it, oh my God, yeah, you know. So when you, in closing, when you come up and talk to the whales, you say, "Hey, how's that champions tournament?" Ah, I like cringe. Oh my God, you know?
Because that word has a connotation to it, doesn't it? And
Yes,
and 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 one of the connotations to it is money, because tournaments cost money. People pay, teams pay entry fees, and somebody who puts a tournament on is collecting dollars. Well, that's not what happens here.
yeah. And what happens here is we play with the select ball. I mean, that's it.
Yes,
Yeah, baby.
yes, a
Okay.
select ball that's been donated by Select, for goodness sakes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Uh, and I wonder if people know and understand that the balls we use in the high school Champions League are they have the stamp on the ball of the local Champions League logo right there
Wow.
on the ball. They're specially
Exactly.
made for this tournament. It's really
Exactly.
cool.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's go to number five. So last week, you may remember, it was last Tuesday actually, we talked about a gentleman in Washington, D.C. named Shane Benko, who was on the House Small Business Subcommittee, the House Committee on Small Business. And he is, through his committee, he is working they are working on the World Cup, and he is doing everything he can to work the High School Champions League into the committee business. Okay, that was 7 days ago. Today, I want to tell you about Shane's brother, his older brother, Brian. Brian is he has never played in the Champions League because when he was in high school, the Champions League hadn't been invented yet. But he is a high school player at Jesuit High School in Tampa. But he works in Washington, D.C. He's been on a number of committees, and now he works for the Export Import Bank. He is a guy that is on the rise, Brian Benko. I wouldn't be surprised one day to see him run for office. But we've been in contact with Brian in the last week. He is very interested in everything that we're doing, and he's very interested in looking for ways to bring the high school Champions League into the various dealings that he has throughout Washington, D.C. This is not any kind of news item in the sense that Brian has actually done anything yet, but we have two brothers now from Tampa who are in Washington, D.C., revolving around Congress and the business of D.C., who have their eyes open to bring the high school Champions League into conversations that they are a part of. This is exciting news. It may or may not lead to anything. We'll see. But it's good to know because one day, Kevin, I think we may come on this program with some fruits of their labor. I hope that happens. So that's our report for today.
Beautiful. And I just couldn't help but having it right in the forefront that this Perry Vandenbeck is a true ambassador of the beautiful game of soccer in America. I mean, this guy is in a little bit of everything. He's easy to talk to, and he listens and he gives feedback, and he just makes it so worthwhile. And he's actually spent his life playing soccer.
Yes, yes, and he's right there from your neighbor, well, from St. Louis, and
Yeah,
you talk about bringing St. Louis and Tampa Bay together. I mean, it was Perry that was part of our Champions League draw down here in Tampa. And 10 minutes in, he pulls us aside and he says, we've got to get this to St. Louis. St. Louis is going to love this. And the rest is history. Terry connected us with
Yeah.
Greg Keller and Terry Mickler, and away we went.
Barlumpum. And under full disclosure, I saw Perry right after the game, the game that was Pro Game City in St. Louis. And
Okay.
he says, "Are your ears burning? We would have been talking about you." And then, yeah, so that's why you and we have been at the start of things, of the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, when it starts sprawling,
Yes.
and looking forward to Kansas City coming up and this, that, and everything else. It's just unbelievable. But I wanted to shout out to the ambassador of St. Louis. And this cat was in high school. All the newspapers always wrote an article about him, and he got drafted by the Tampa Bay right out of high school or in high school, and then he
First high school player in America to do this. Yep.
yes, and the only one in this town afterwards. And then this time he was the captain in the Olympic squad in 1980
Yep.
that boycotted Moscow. But the deal is that those guys, they took that to heart, man. But he's always been, and with the United States national team, he's the guy. Perry Vanderbeck, BVD.
Yes.
Yes, just unbelievable. I'm so thankful and grateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
No doubt. No
Okay,
doubt.
Jim.
All right, Kevin. Let's put a wrap on it, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the United States National High School Champions League, and we're coming to you. We're coming. Bye-bye.